Morning folks. Today kind of a thing came up, kind of a question from one of our kind of new clients, and it was in regards to doing a deadlift, and they said that they'd never really done it before because they had a bad back, and they felt that it was dangerous for them to do. Let's kind of make it really clear on something like a movement such as a deadlift. And deadlifting basically means it's like me trying to pick this chair up. I've got to get my ass back, chest up to pick any object up off the ground. So deadlifts are not an optional movement. They're not something you have a choice about whether you should do them or should not do them. You have to be able to deadlift because you need to be able to pick up anything off the floor with good form without messing your back up. One of the main reasons why people will say I can't deadlift is because they don't have the ability to maintain stabilization within their midline, meaning they can't get their ass back, their chest up, weight in the heels, so on and so forth. Major kind of cueing points around the deadlift. So it's not an optional movement. You don't have a choice with this. You don't have a choice whether for the rest of your life you don't know and can't safely pick up something from the floor. It's very rare that somebody would actually hurt themselves doing deadlifts. And it's more common for people to hurt themselves by simply picking something up off that's pretty small from the floor that doesn't weigh anything remotely like what they would typically use in a deadlift. It's one of the major reasons why in most gyms they're not taught, because in, let's say, commercial gym, if you're dealing with a lot of clients, they're not going to teach it to you much of the time, because it's easier to tell you to go over there, do the leg extension, do the leg curl, do the leg press, do all these other movements that don't require you to actually have to coach the movement. Whereas getting somebody to deadlift, it might take days, weeks, it might take months to get you to the point where you've got somebody that you're happy in terms of the deadlifting form. And that takes a trained eye to see what they need to see and to get what they need to get out of the movements all of the time. That's one of the main reasons they don't really do it in commercial gyms, or if they do, it's often taught very badly, or in, let's say, a class situation like a boot camp, or a circuit type class situation where the reps are done for so many reps that it's very easy for people to default into shitty form. So let's kind of keep clear on deadlifts. If you are going to do them, one of the main reasons why you might struggle with them is you don't have your ability to control your midline. You don't have the ability to keep yourself in good position by breathing optimally, meaning that you're able to push air down into your belly and then tighten up and brace in that position. And then one of the other main reasons why is because you've got shockingly bad mobility. So you can't pass simple tests like, can you just simply get into a couch stretch up against the wall? So let's say if I do that against the wall here, so somebody can't simply get themselves into this position, get to an upright position and lie up against the wall in that position. If the hip flexors are super tight and the glutes are super tight, then what that's going to mean is that the back, it will always be in this kind of hyperextended position or in a very rounded position all of the time. It's either here or here all of the time. So both positions, both extremes are not the ideal. But again, it depends on the individual, and a good coach is able to point out when somebody is too far in one direction, whether they're overextended or whether they're rounded. But the main point on this video is that the deadlift movement is not an optional movement. You don't have a choice in it. There's many ways in which you can scale the movement down, such as starting with Romanian deadlifts, or starting by simply strengthening the hamstrings first, and then working your way up to like a regular conventional deadlift with a bar or with a trap bar, and then using variations of that such as banded, paused, deficit. There's loads of different options, but if the individual is not prepared to work on their midline stability and working on their overall mobility, then they're putting themselves in highly risky situations by then spending half their day sitting down, tightening up all the muscles that need to be loose. And then they say, well, the deadlift hurt me. And very often it's because they never really worked on the aspects of the movements that they needed to work on to keep the deadlift a safe movement for them. So I hope that helps, and keep deadlifting with good form, and work on all the aspects that make the deadlift into a movement that you can practice on a daily basis by simply picking things up and putting things down safely around your house, which is probably going to have a far better and higher carryover effect than if you're doing 1 or 2 really good deadlifts per week in the gym. It's probably more related to what you're doing on a daily basis. Hope that helps. Thanks for watching.